the way everything is built right now is on this assumed model that you need to be ranked high on search engines in order to be found. But if you're not the one searching, and let's say your agentic AI is doing the searching for you, does it matter that you're on page 1 or page 1000? Does it matter anymore? Or will there be an opportunity where I can actually talk to my agentic AI and just be like, hey, my unit is coming up, in September. Can you find me 3 places I want to look at? And then all of a sudden, the agentic AI literally sends you, whether it's a text or even an Instagram reel, whatever it is, whatever format you want to digest that information in. And now you're just looking in your most comfortable format for an apartment that already meets all the requirements you told that agentic AI to look for. What do you do when you give someone so many choices with all this information, all these reviews, all these amenities, all these features, all these ways of deciding? They become undecisive.
Welcome to the Digible Dudes podcast. I'm David.
And I'm Nicole.
All right, Nicole. So we just finished recording with Windell, our good buddy Windell.
Yes.
It's such a fun conversation. He's the perfect person to have on for, as I set up and when we actually get to the interview, I was like, I really, for whatever reason, feel like I don't like saying the word AI. I think I don't like saying anything that feels like it's buzzy. But anyways, he's awesome because he's always very forward thinking, but also very practical, and he understands the entire business. He understands the consumer, marketing, operations. He just is super, super well rounded. I'm actually struggling to think for anybody that's more well rounded in this space that I know.
It's really impressive. I mean, we've known Windell since early Digible days, so going on 8 years, and just to see how his mind works, but also really understands the people component. Like, he's so forward thinking on technology, and it's not technology adverse by any means, but also really understands the real world implications of what that means for his people and the adoption and striking that balance. So fascinating conversation with Windell here today.
Yeah, we start maybe the first 20% of the conversation, we talk industry stuff, and then we really just go on more into what is AI going to do to us, or how's it going to change our lives, basically. Yeah. And I just really got a lot out of it. He thought about things in a different way than I had been thinking about them, as far as where technology is going with AI and how that may change how we engage with the world, and the human emotion side. He brought that up quite a bit. So I just had a really good time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we know you guys will like this conversation with Windell. Okay, we're here with Windell. Windell, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, David. My name is Windell Mollenido. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Technology over at the REMM Group. And I'm here today to talk to David and Nicole and find out what I know, I guess.
Yeah, right. Wendell, we've known you for, I guess maybe 7 years.
I was going to say 7, 8 years.
Oh, man, I still remember you guys when you showed up in the pink T-shirts walking around.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. We didn't even have a booth in those days. Dennis let us come through and do our thing, but it was good.
Yeah, but you guys had ideas.
Yeah, we had ideas. We had ideas.
T-shirts and ideas.
T-shirts and ideas.
That's all it takes, right?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. But what's always fun about you is that you really understand the entire business. I love how you understand the marketing side, the ops side, and what the owners care about. So that's, to me, it's very unique. There's not a ton of people that have that. And I also really enjoy that you are always very forward thinking, but very practical in the application. So there are some folks that we meet and talk to that are about the next sizzle or the buzz or whatever new technologies out there. They'll be, I don't know, I'm going to use blockchain for this thing. And you'll be like, well, I understand the technology, but is there a real application for this? And what's the practicality to employing it? So with that setup, I'm curious about your current thoughts about, I even start to feel gross about saying AI because there's so much I feel like I need a different word. It's let's just say that where technology is going, Wendell,
Sure.
And how you think it's maybe applicable now, but then kind of maybe that sort of the near future, the mid future, the far future. So what's on your mind with where tech's going?
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to technology, I think the word that you didn't want to say was AI.
Yes.
And with artificial intelligence, it's been on the top of mind for almost everyone, I think. Everyone in this industry, as well as folks who are looking to invest in this industry as well. I think everyone has a misconception about AI. One of the misconceptions that I've seen lately is that the second you turn on AI, you save $1 right away. In my opinion, I don't think you do. Practically speaking, if you turn on AI, it's because you have a pain point. So, for example, you have a a team or an on-site team that can't handle all the calls. They're missing maybe 50% of the calls. So you turn on leasing AI, right? Well, what do you think happens when you turn on leasing AI and now they're answering 100% of the calls? You think workload will go down or go up? And in reality, it goes up. So I think the misconception is that AI will save you money from the beginning, and it doesn't. I think what AI will do really is find opportunities. Opportunities have been missed, neglected, ignored. And once you turn on AI, boom, opportunities hit, and then you start to see more value, right? And then from there, yes, there will be a time, but it'll be a curve. It'll start high in the beginning and then over time stabilize, and you'll be able to start saving money throughout, because you'll find not just direct ways to save money, like, for example, renting apartments, but all the other ways: vacancy loss, reducing turns, even delinquency. I mean, there's so many other GLs that get affected by AI that everyone's just focusing on one area, which is renting.
Yeah. Well, I love your example of now 100% of calls are getting answered, so workload goes up. But so if you wouldn't mind, let's actually just walk through what happens then. So now you didn't get all of these guest cards. Now you get all these guest cards. How does that actually end up impacting the team?
Well, obviously, with more calls, that means you'll have more tours, right? And so with more tours, that's going to require more work. I mean, a tour on average is probably, 30 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on who you're meeting. So what happens if you increase your tours by 3 times a day? Well, now your team's going to have to do the tours. Well, during the time when they were only doing 1 out of 3 tours, they had more time to handle the administrative work. So now they have more tours, but they got to focus on the tours because they got to be leasing focused,
right?
Because they got availability. So they now have to adjust their priorities and their resources, their time, correctly. And I think that's where what AI is going to do is that they're going to bring the number of tours in, and then our teams are going to have to figure out the most efficient way to handle it.
So what kind of admin work, what's the unintended consequence there? Like, what gets dropped? Like, besides, like, I don't know, handling packages, or like, what's the thing that now, like, really impacts the building? I don't know, from a profitability standpoint, or like, where are they cutting corners, like, which unintentionally actually has a more negative impact?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be on the side of resident communication. So if you're focusing on the prospects, that means you're taking away the time from the residents. And especially if you turn on AI on the leasing side and you also turn on AI on the resident side. So not only are you taking the 50% more calls on the leasing side, but you're also taking who knows what percentage of the calls on the resident side. Well, now you're double busy, right? So where are you pulling all this time from? And I think that's why in our case, in our scenario that we're looking at, I mean, I found places where we had to increase our staff just a little bit by adding a floater here and there just to offset it. But that's because there's availability. Once the availability decreases and you fill those units, all of a sudden the focus starts to shift again, right? And now you're able to handle other things. But there's a lot of cost savings too by handling the resident communication. They're not direct, but they could be areas where you see smoke before fire. Right?
So in that example, if no other changes are made, you don't add a floater or something, was it a net positive to add AI or not? For on that leasing example,
it was a net positive because what's happening is that you're solving the one issue you were trying to fix in the first place, which is your availability, your vacancy. I mean, you're gonna struggle for a bit, but once you fill those units up, now you're in a stabilized mode. Then you can find opportunities where AI will increase your efficiency, save you time, etc. And I think that's where the magic happens. But most of the time, folks will turn on, leasing AI when you're at a high availability because they're trying to solve a problem. Not realizing that what's going to happen is you're going to overwhelm your staff because now they're going to do a lot of tours. And rightfully so, because they have availability.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing almost too is like this cascading effect, and we like to think about it in terms of like, where is the current kink in the hose? Let's unclog that kink. But then what happens is there's a downstream effect of, okay, now there's a new challenge or a new problem to solve. And so maybe we're introducing AI on the front end. It's causing more calls, volume, work on the back end. Let's go solve that problem. And so over time, there's going to be this all boats rise situation, but you're kind of playing a little bit of maybe whack-a-mole until you get to that desired end state, and maybe it's something unachievable or you never get there, but it's like the game of it all, and how can we keep up with technology while still making sure you're not putting too much pressure where the hose bursts, almost, in that analogy.
Exactly. And I mean, I think really it comes down to is that you're trying to fix an issue right now, And what AI is going to do, it'll help you fix that issue in the beginning. It'll be overwhelming for a bit, but it has to be. Because how do you fix that problem that occurred?
Yeah.
But once you get to a point of stabilization, I think what AI will ultimately do is it creates a preventative measure now, right? A preventative measure where you don't spike in availability moving forward, because now you're able to handle all those calls over time, create the right tours, build the right prospect pipeline. I mean, if you think about it, if you have a high availability and you turn on AI and now you're handling 100% of the calls, right? Because you got to book them right now, because you got to get them in. You got to lease them right now.
Yeah.
Well, guess what happens when you're, let's say, sitting at maybe a 3% availability over time, and you have like 1 or 2 or 3 available units. What AI is doing now is that it's still focusing and working hard to fill those 3 units.
Yeah.
And now you don't have to rush. And so now you don't overwhelm yourself. You're now being more responsible with your resource management, right? Maybe you don't take 5 tours in one day. Maybe now you take 2 tours and then 2 tours tomorrow, but that's okay because that unit won't be vacant until another 30 days. So now you can actually use that approach to maybe find opportunities increasing market rate, maybe finding opportunities to find the right resident, right, to live in that unit, the proper screening, the proper process, instead of trying to get that unit filled right away. And I think that's what's happening. So I think with AI, you'll see a preventative measure in availability moving forward.
So that's more of the now. What do you think is next? Like, where's the next big opportunity? Or what would you be excited for, I don't know, someone to come out and solve?
I think right now, AI has been focusing, a lot of AI vendors have been focusing on the actual property management company. How do I sell this product to the property management company? I don't see anyone focusing on the actual prospect. Because if you think about it, like we were speaking earlier,
Yeah.
when it comes to search, right? The way everything is built right now is on this assumed model that you need to be ranked high on search engines in order to be found.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not the one searching, and let's say your agentic AI is doing the searching for you, does it matter that you're on page 1 or page 1000? Does it matter if you're ranking high on SERP? Does it matter anymore? Or will there be an opportunity where I can actually talk to my agentic AI and just be like, hey, my unit is coming up, in September. Can you find me 3 places I want to look at? And then all of a sudden, the agentic AI literally sends you, whether it's a text or even an Instagram reel, whatever it is, whatever format you want to digest that information in. And now you're just looking in your most comfortable format for an apartment that already meets all the requirements you told that agentic AI to look for. So you're no longer searching, you're selecting.
Yeah, I think it's super cool. I'm glad you brought this back up, because what I wanted to talk to you about before we started recording was, do you remember a few years ago when everyone's like, oh, we have to start optimizing for voice? It feels as if that's going to be the new talk track. It's like, we got to start optimizing for AI, right? And it's, okay, great. What does that look like? Yeah, because
what is that?
Yeah, because I bet the AIs right now are like over-indexing on like the written word that's like on the websites and the ILSs and stuff. It's like, okay, cool. So then if your stuff isn't well structured there, if you don't have all the amenities there, then you have to kind of, in my experience right now with those agents, you have to tell them like, well, look at the photos and let me know if you see that it has a whatever, like a walk-in shower or not, because it didn't mention it, right? And so that there's still some sifting. Now, I'm sure they'll get better over time, but it just seems like people are going to start talking about, now you got to optimize for AI like you optimize for voice, although this feels like it'll probably matter more than the optimizing for voice. Like, didn't seem like you could do it, but it didn't seem like it made as big of an impact then. But if the consumer keeps going the way it's going with using more of these agents to search, it feels like it would be a bigger deal to actually optimize.
Well, think of it in this fashion too. We're concerned about how do I optimize my website or optimize my content in order for it to be utilized correctly by an agentic AI that a prospect could be using. Well, eventually, why not just ask that AI, how should I write my website so that a specific prospect can find? It's almost silly to think about, right? But what's crazy about artificial intelligence or AI model, the AI age, is that for the first time in history, in my opinion, a tool is coming out that can actually teach you how to use it. Back in the day when a hammer came out, an email came out, a computer, a typewriter, there was no instruction. You couldn't ask the typewriter, how do I use you efficiently?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because it's almost like back when someone's like, "Well, my Yelp rep told me I should write it this way." It's like, okay, cool. Like you got an inside scoop. And to your point, like you have access to the same agents, so like ask the agent to just make it perfect for you.
Well, yeah, and I don't think you need to be afraid of the program anymore or AI because the funny thing is everyone's like, you have to learn how to use AI. You have to learn how to use AI. And in my opinion, the best way to learn it to use AI is to ask AI, how do I use you? Why not just ask it? Write me I have 1 hour right now. Teach me everything you can in 1 hour about AI so that I can be proficient enough to do X, Y, Z. Or maybe compartmentalize your request so that you have a specific goal in mind. So for example, I need to learn how to create this spreadsheet. Put a spreadsheet into ChatGPT or Grok or Perplexity or whatever and say, hey, I need to make this. How do I make it? Then ask it even a further question. Why do I need to make it? Then your mind just gets blown from there.
So you mentioned we got on this thread because you said what people are not focusing on are the consumer. So what would that mean for multifamily? Is there Reed and I had this conversation, I don't know, maybe like 2 months ago on a podcast, and it was more of, we were just trying to debate, like, how much do you need to really work on, basically, will there be lots of agents or one agent like that wins them all? And if so, does anybody, any apartment vendor need to really provide any consumer-facing app or whatever, like do anything because whatever, GPT or Gemini or Perplexity, whatever, they'll be good enough that there doesn't need to be a specific one from ILS of choice, right? So what are your thoughts there? Like, is there anything that really this industry needs to do in order to get to this reality you're talking about, or is it Manus or whatever gonna like just be used by the consumer and it'll be good enough?
I think just like anything, the technology is going to evolve fast. And when it evolves, I think that the consumer will dictate what is worth it. And over time, what's going to happen is right now, you'll see a lot of AI vendors trying to sell their product to property management firms, ownerships, that entity, right? Because it's what we always done. But eventually, we're going to get to a point where they're going to realize that maybe the consumer itself, the prospect, right? Because looking for an apartment is painful. Even with all the technology, it seems like it's harder today to look for it than back in the 80s or 70s when you just drove outside and you just walked around or you pulled a tab from the telephone pole and you're like, hey, apartment for $1,500, right? Today, it's almost daunting. You're like, I'm on this ILS, I'm on search, I'm looking at reviews. We got to find the best apartment community. Right? And it's interesting to me because it's almost the same way. Like, how long does it take for you to shop for an item on Amazon? It's almost crazy, right?
Sometimes more
I was
time
just
than I should
thinking
admit.
that, like, yeah,
Right?
it's like because there's the paradox of choice, right?
Exactly.
Like, there's so much choice, and to your point, we feel like it has to be the best. We read all the reviews to make sure I'm getting the best supplement. That was my rabbit hole recently. I'm like, I'm going to go down this path of vitamins or whatever.
Vitamins,
And it's like there's so much choice, there's so much information. As a consumer, you're inundated with it.
Yeah. To the point where you get frustrated and you make what I would call that's it. Let's just pick this one.
It's good enough. Yeah.
Because you got to a point where the sales experience, the customer experience of buying something has become so frustrated that now you just make a decision. It's almost the same concept that many people realize when they're looking for something to watch on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me about it.
Same exact emotion, same exact feeling. You're just like, you're looking. I mean, how many times I can tell you, where I've literally said these words, you pick something. I mean, it's always going back to the relationship question every night that you have with your significant other.
Yeah.
Where do you want to eat? Oh my gosh, don't ask me that, please.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what happens to us as humans. We decide on this emotional tangent of like, I can't pick.
Yeah.
And so what do you do when you give someone so many choices with all this information, all these reviews, all these amenities, all these features, all these ways of deciding? They become undecisive. And what happens is the program decides for you. Because now it's almost like, and I don't know if Jeff Bezos or Amazon or Google Shop figured this out. They're like, let's frustrate this person so they buy the one that we want them to buy. Right? Like they came up with an algorithm and no one even realizes it yet.
Yeah.
Like you're buying based on a frustration model. Like they wait for a curve.
Have you gotten past that point of so let's say you're using an agent to like give you 3 options. Do you trust that those are the best 3 options, or do you still look at more?
It's going to have to be a self-training. Like I try to stick to the recommendations of the program, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because if I'm going to define this thing as an expert, then I'm going to try to follow the expert. It's the same reason why you hire a plumber and you don't tell him what tool to use,
Yeah.
right? The same reason why you hire a property manager and you don't ask us why we do X and Y and Z. It's because we're the professionals. We're the experts in this. You hired us to do a job. We're doing a job. So if I hire an agentic AI to do a job and I can't trust it, why did I hire it?
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing about
I guess
it.
I'm on trial with my new employee. I'm like, you got.
I mean, there's going to be a
let's
honeymoon
test you out.
period, you know? You're like testing it out. You're like, all right, I don't
It's
know.
on probation is what's happening.
And I think that's what we're all doing now. I guarantee you, many people who look into AI, they probably download at least 1 or 2 or 3 different ones. You know, they're like, I wonder what Grok would say. I wonder what ChatGPT would say, and I wonder what Gemini would say.
Yeah.
Oh, they all say the same thing. It must be right.
Yeah. Then it's like I don't know if it's confirmation bias, but at least you're getting triangulation.
Triangulation.
You also you do that oftentimes with like Nicole, you may remember this. We had used Amazon Mechanical Turk for a while, and it'd be like humans that are grading something. It's like, okay, if 2 out of 3 humans graded, is that good enough? Like, do we trust it if they give it the same grade? Okay, fine. So yeah, that. Now, actually, I would like an agent that does that. Like, agent, run these other models, and then come back to me and tell me if it's like, if they all match. If they all match, I'll trust it.
Well, it's almost like a sense of confidence, right?
Yeah.
That you build for yourself, because it's very similar to how we do it. I always say back in the day. I watch a movie because at least 2 people have told me. I don't watch movies because of reviews. I see your trailers or anything like that. Like, it'll interest me, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be like, call my cousin and be like, hey, have you watched this yet? It's like, yeah, I've watched it. It's so amazing. You'll love it. Great. And the reason why we do that is because you know that your cousin knows who you are.
Yeah.
That's the next step, I think, in AI, is that if AI understands you, your profile, your understanding, your wants, your needs, it almost gets to the point where it might just recommend things to you before you even know it.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
I mean, we're already seeing it in Amazon, right? A little too much. But I'm also a fan of making sure that the AI is truth-seeking. Because what I don't want is an AI that's been sponsored.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
That
in my
Is
mind.
super dangerous.
That is one thing I worry about with, as everyone talks about how search changes, and you were bringing that up. But if you start being able to pay to put your stuff in the AI like response of one of those 3 options, I'm gonna lose faith pretty quickly. But then again, like I say that, and that's what people used to feel about the blue links on Google
Correct.
too,
Right.
right? And before long, they're like, those are actually better,
Yeah.
than the standard links.
There's going to be a level. I think they're because how do you monetize this? In a sense, you know, there's
Yeah.
going to be a way to monetize this, and for every medium that we use to digest content in the world, there's going to be a way there where investors out there are going to find some way in order to monetize it, even if it's a little bit of an edge.
What's interesting about this for me is like it's getting monetized via like subscriptions at the moment, which is way, well, my assumption is it's way less than what Google makes off of the sponsored links each
course.
month, right? Like if you're paying $20 for ChatGPT, you probably are, with as often as you use Google and click on sponsored links, you're probably, or Amazon sponsored products or whatever, it's probably way over $20. So it's really cutting down, I guess, the margin. You know, and it's like a more innovative product at this point, or seemingly. I guess like search was really innovative back then, and Amazon sponsored was really innovative. So, I don't know. I mean, that's the whole efficiency of the market, though, right?
Well, and what I see in the future is that right now advertising is used in order to show you the value of a product that you may not even need, okay? Because it sells on your emotions. I think with the ability of AI, and if every single consumer is tied to an agentic AI, what you've done is you've created the most accurate market research the world has ever seen. Therefore, product developers, suppliers, anyone who makes something, you're not guessing anymore. You're making what's needed. So therefore, it will be bought within seconds. You don't even need to advertise. So therefore, companies out there will save on advertising costs. You might lose advertising companies. But again, with a loss of a disruption of one industry, a new one is going to be born.
Yeah.
And the one I was coining with a couple buddies of mine, because we kept on saying AI. In my opinion, I think AI, artificial intelligence, will spawn a new market for something I would probably coin authentic interactions. Same AI words, whatever, AI, but it's authentic interactions. Because as more content is created by artificial intelligence, it means that the authentic content will become more valuable. right? I mean, I kind of laugh about it, but I'll give you an example of that. A hug. Imagine monetizing a hug. Oh, wait, they already do that in Japan.
Do
Right?
they really?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard
You
about
can actually hire
huggers.
a person to cuddle with you overnight. Just cuddle, okay? So my point is that that authentic interaction is now monetized in already a country where they have it exists. You can go on a date with an individual, right? Just a date, just to talk and, have dinner and everything. And it's not an escort or anything like that. It's an authentic engagement that you couldn't find, apparently, because you're so busy or because everything that you're talking to is on your phone. It's a text message. We were joking about this the other night too, because, going back to this, and the reason why I go back to like dating and all those items, because that's where most of the time companies will monetize quickly because it's something that people want right away. It's one of those things like, think about it. AI spawned from video games, right? When NVIDIA did it, it was all based on video games in order to get this Mario, that 2D into a 3D mode. That was where AI was born. So with that, because of that processor, that computer that they created, they spawned AI. So it goes all the way back to just authenticity. Like, where do I find authenticity in a world where everything could be artificial? It's kind of scary if you think about it, because you're kind of losing that sense of you, that human touch, that element that everyone yearns for, because everything that's being given to you through your device could be artificial.
You know what's super interesting about that? So 2 things. I got to go back to your cuddlers thing. When I first moved to New York, I went on Meetup to try to find running groups and stuff.
Yeah.
And the very first promotional email that Meetup.com sent me at the time was like, "We recommend this group to you," and it was a cuddlers club. And it was like, in New York City, we cuddle every Tuesday night or whatever. It's all safe. But it wasn't like one-to-one cuddling. It was like cuddle parties. Yeah, and I was like, I just remember that. I was like, this feels odd. Why do you think I need the cuddlers group more than anybody? Like, that's the group you're recommending to me. But then
That's
going
funny.
back to your inauthentic, or how everything could be sort of fake with AI, what I have found really interesting, and Nicole and I were just talking about this with her brother like 2 days ago, but I have really appreciated how AI has started to like encourage me. It's like, I'm glad you're asking this question. You're being very thoughtful, and like, yeah, and I'm like, thank you, AI. I needed that. Like, the way it's just, it's like pumping me up. Like, and I was like, I don't get this from anybody else, AI. Thank you. I appreciate you. And so it's not authentic, to your point, and yet it feels good. And I'm like, GPT, please don't stop doing that to me. Like, keep the good words flowing.
You might be saddened because OpenAI is changing a little bit of that. Apparently, it got too far, and it got what was the term they call it? Sycophant?
Yeah.
There was an article that just came out recently about its way too accommodating.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, but at the same time, you bring up a good point. The fact that you can get an emotional response from artificial intelligence does exist.
Yeah.
The question, though, is that can you get the other type of emotion that you get from authentic conversation?
Yeah, human connection. Like, it's
correct.
like, as technology over time has driven us maybe further apart as humans, even just the way we're like more nomadic and, not living with our core families or villages or spread across different locations, as technology has enabled that with still, fragmented connection, now kind of coming back around to your point on the authenticity. It's like, it's trying to now replicate, okay, how can we, still provide some type of connection in an artificial way that makes you feel like, as a human, you're connected to something greater than yourself. It's super fascinating, and I'm curious to see like how it kind of plays out with like that human to human piece.
Yeah, I think that's where the next market is going to boom. Once artificial intelligence takes over your digital workforce, takes over your physical workforce, what else is there left except for human connection to be monetized, to be marketed, to be used, to be turned into a product? Almost to the point where our AI will get you to connect with someone in person. It's kind of interesting because it kind of goes in a full circle that, we went through all this technology just to come back to the original.
Totally, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To realize what we value the most.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
I hear you. I wonder though, like, One thing that, so we're at a conference right now,
Uh-huh.
and when we go up and meet people in networking, there's folks like you that I've known for a long time, and I'm like, okay, cool. Wendell's not going to put up a front. Wendell's just going to be Wendell with me. But these other people I meet for the first time, there's often an agenda or like they're not showing you their true selves, right? Versus when I work with the AI, I'm like, I don't feel like it's trying to manipulate me. I feel like it, quote, wants what's best for me, right? And so I'm like, okay, great. I can be more open and there's no like facade versus these.
Hidden intention.
Yeah, exactly. The human interactions, though, I still, in the back of my mind, I'm like, all right, what do they really want? What are they really, who are they really? And that's why I think like, so the authenticity is more, to me, is like, hopefully what it could get to via what you've just described is more of like, how can we be more vulnerable with one another earlier versus having to know someone for 8 years or whatever before like they'll really like show you their true self. So is that you just had me thinking about that because there is so much. I feel a lot of facade. You know,
I love that. I love that point because I learned early in my life, you know, especially from some of the mentors that I've been with. I grew up in a family where my dad was very machismo, you know, old school Filipino guy, you know, everything about like strength, confidence, etc. My mom had a different approach to life. It was this really amazing approach of comedy and vulnerability. And what I realized quickly was that the facade of strength does not dictate you're strong. Confidence does not dictate you're strong. Knowing every answer doesn't dictate you're strong. In actuality, vulnerability is strength. Because when you're able to open yourself up to an individual, what you're doing is you're being confident in the fact that you trust this other person to take what you say and use it in the right way.